You are listening to the Workbench After Hours podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to the Second Amendment, where we talk about firearms, everything going on in the gun community, and we even try a different whiskey every week.
On this week, we are going to talk about this little thing called Project 2025, and we're going to talk about the research and what it could mean for our government. There's also a new vending machine popping up in Oklahoma with freedom seeds. Yeah! While we're doing this, we're going to be trying Basil Haden Subtile Smoke. Welcome back to episode 118 of the Workbench After Hours. And today we're going to try Basil Haden Subtile Smoked Whiskey.
I accidentally bought two of these. I had one in the collection, like tucked back in the shelf, and I forgot about it. And then I was at the liquor store the other day, and I saw that. I'm like, that looks cool. Totally forgot I had bought it. So I'm like, well, we'll open it because I got two. So I'm interested in how this is going to be. Obviously, you know, we kind of like to smoke stuff. We like to toast things. We have a Penelope Toasted that we were debating about bringing on as well, but decided to go with this since we had two.
Yeah. On the notes, it says it's hickory, caramel, and velvety mouthfeel. And the finish is supposed to be like soft smokiness.
So it's basically the same high rye mash bill as regular Basil Haden, but what they do with this is they toast and lightly char a second barrel, and then they ignite hickory smoke chips and constant feed it into the actual pump it into the barrel, resulting in notes of a soft char and light butterscotch. So the unique flavor provides a smoother, more subtle take on smoky spirits. So, and a lot of these are like kind of like campfire stuff. I know a Whistle Pig, or is it Whistle Pig? Came out with like a campfire one.
Came out of the camp
kind
one.
of the same thing. So 80 proof. So they basically say it's a 80 proof, so it's not going to
Kick you on your butt.
Yeah, it's not gonna burn like you would with a higher proof. So
and it's a rye build, so
yeah, and it obviously smells like an 80 proof.
Yeah, I mean I got that pepper, real heavy pepper.
Yeah,
you kind of do get like a smoky, like smell of it too.
Kind of like when we took that top hat that I have, and we put some wood chips in there, and it
burnt. Yeah,
lingers.
that's what it smells like.
Yeah, just not like lightly, not a.
And you're still
over.
Yeah, and you can pick up a little bit of caramel and like caramels and
vanilla.
Yeah,
a little bit of vanilla in there. Yeah, mate. I mean,
doesn't smell bad. It smells really delicious.
There's not a whole lot going on other than a little bit of smokiness, some hickory and char and vanilla. Really,
yeah, man. You definitely get the smoke on the back end. Up front, it's so smooth. Like you could probably drink that neat all night.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's not like complex or anything. I mean, you're really just getting a little bit of sweetness, but then you're getting the char and smoke.
Yep.
Kind of like a oaky / hickory thing going on there. But
wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say it's not like a long finish, but it stays on your tongue for a while.
Yeah, you get the pepper, and then all of a sudden the smoke comes with that pepper. It feels like.
But yeah, it's good. Man,
that's smooth too.
I might keep it neat and then try some on the rocks because I don't want the rocks to take away from that smokiness, you know?
Yeah. I'll pour
I think that might happen. And it's not
I'm going to pour a little bit of it and I'm going to keep some of it neat.
Like with that 80 proof, again, you don't get that burn as they mentioned. So this would be kind of a good one for a beginner too because
it's not overpowering. It's smooth.
And it's sophisticated. This would go good with a cigar.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Man, I wish I had one.
I've been wanting a cigar like the last week and a half, and I'm like, should I just go get one?
Why not?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
man,
go get one down the street, and we'll drink some of this.
Go get a pack of Sweet Janes real quick.
Yep. So this is good. So we'll see what happens when it is on the rocks for a while. See how it changes the profile. I'm interested to see what it's gonna do, but I mean, I could sip on that.
Oh yeah,
no problem.
Neat. Be like a good fall time, just sit there by the campfire.
Heck yeah. Before we get into our main topic that Chris is going to talk about, because I'm like, you have to research this.
Yep.
Supposedly he did. So we'll see. We'll find out if he actually did. But before we get to that, one cool thing that, the Midwest is pretty known for being Second Amendment friendly, right?
Yeah.
Well, turns out if you're actually living in Oklahoma and doing some grocery shopping, you know how you have the red boxes, which may or may not still exist anymore.
I don't know.
But like you have Coke machines, vending machines at the entrance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's starting to pop up in Oklahoma?
What?
Over at a Pell City grocery store, buying ammunition recently got a little bit easier.
Some grocery stores in Oklahoma are now letting you buy ammunition from a vending machine.
In the same place you buy your groceries, you can also buy ammunition for a gun. It's as simple as this. Choose your ammo and scan your ID. Next, customers will use the AI facial recognition to verify they're the person they claim to be.
Legally, we're required to make sure that someone's of legal age in order to use the machine or to purchase ammunition. And past that, we want to make sure that they have a valid ID.
Lawrence Songer, COO of American Rounds, the company behind these vending machines, believes this is more secure than a real person checking for ID.
One thing that you don't get in traditional retailers when it comes to ID verification is, depending on the store employee, a lot of times a person's not carded to begin with or ask for their ID.
Well, there you go.
That's pretty sweet.
You know, how easy of a thought that was. Like, I don't think I ever would have come up with that.
No, it's probably gonna be like $1 billion like thing.
We'll see. You know, the left is going to fight that. And be like,
I'm
oh my
sure.
God, you can, like, if you would have put that
But
in,
he
like,
does make a good point. Like, I think I've only been carded twice for ever buying ammo.
yeah. I mean, in our age, I mean, once
Yeah.
we start having grays, you know, we're probably over 18
Yeah.
or 21.
Yeah, but I've seen, like, I was in a store and they didn't card this guy at all, and he looked 18 the max.
Yeah.
And he was buying rounds after rounds. And he bought 2 guns, and I was like, man. I was like, ugh.
Yeah. I mean, he's right. It could be safer. And obviously but then it obviously don't have to employ somebody behind the counter.
Yeah.
And this is grocery store, so you're not going to go into the grocery store looking for ammo anyway. So it's not like that person's out of a job.
Yeah.
Out of a sporting goods store.
I think it's a good idea.
The thing that has me a little questionable is obviously it's doing Face ID and it's scanning your driver's license. Is that being stored anywhere to track?
Well, that's the thing, too. Like, I've always wondered that when we buy our ammo, like, why are you scanning my ID? Where's that information going now?
Who scanned your? I've never had my ID scanned.
I got it scanned at Academy
Really?
one time when I bought some 6.5 Creedmoor and 9mm. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, we need your ID. And they scanned it. And I was like, what in the world?
I haven't had that happen yet. Of course, I haven't bought ammo in a while.
Yeah, I mean, this was probably about a year ago. But I was just like, what are you doing? What do you mean you need my ID?
Maybe that's just their corporate way of confirming it's not a fake ID or something.
Yeah, but I was just like,
barcode.
what in the world? Like, I've never been asked that.
Right.
Until I went there and I was like, what? Are you serious right now?
So not only is this scanning your entire ID, but it's also doing a Face ID.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it because you need a way to prove it to you. So whoever's on the ID needs to be the one with this facial recognition thing. But I don't think that it's being stored anywhere, especially from a gun company.
I think all it's doing is just verifying it's you and your age and you can buy it.
Yeah.
That's all I think it's doing.
And I hope so. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
If this guy was like from like some other group, maybe it's like it's a trap.
Yeah, I don't
like,
know. That'd be interesting to find out. That'd be kind of something to like.
One of those anti-gun groups came up with this idea, and they're like, "Oh, you know how we're going to keep a registry without that? We're going to keep track of who buys these guns, making it seem like they can buy them in a vending machine."
Yeah, the ammo.
Like, shit. But I wonder how. I wonder how much ammo can actually fit in that, and what your options are, and two, if it's more expensive, less expensive, or the same price as if you were to go to, say, Academy or sporting goods store.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
I wish we had one in the area now.
Right?
Just to play with.
Maybe it'll pop up. I know. I mean, we're pretty gun friendly here. I don't know what grocery stores.
You know what's even crazier? Like, it reminds me of like the lottery tickets. Like, we have vending machines for lottery tickets now.
Yeah.
It's never asked me for an ID to verify my age.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never used one.
I do it all the time, and I'll let the kids like pick the numbers for like Powerball and Mega Millions.
Nice.
But it never asked for my ID or age or anything.
Huh.
It just needs a credit card.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was wondering that because I've done it a couple times. Like, how are they getting away with this? Don't you have to be like 18 to gamble legally?
Yeah, you have to be 18 to buy a letter. That's why as soon as I turned 18, I went to the gas station, bought a cheap ass cigar and then a lottery ticket.
Yeah. But I was just like, man, it doesn't ask for your ID or nothing. And it's at like our gas stations and
there's no facial recognition.
No,
or
it's just sitting there. You choose what you want, and it'll do it. And then at the end, you just make your payment, check out, and then it just processes it.
What would happen if you won the lottery?
Yeah,
and you're underage.
You'd have to give it to your parents or something,
right? that would cause a lot of drama.
Oh yeah,
Can you
because they
imagine
could
that?
claim all of it, and
Yeah.
you're the one that picked numbers. Oh,
Well, same thing. Like if your kids would have picked the right numbers,
Yeah.
of course you're not going to be like, oh
well,
yeah.
what I'm gonna do for them is I'm setting up trust,
Right.
for like education for college and everything.
Huh. I usually skip those. If I do those machines for anything, I just have them scan a ticket to see if I
Yeah.
want it, and it always says
Well, this is
not
like
a
a
winner.
big vending machine. You can do scratch offs on it and all your lottery. So
Nice. Yeah. Same thing with this.
yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. Again, I wonder what kind of ammo and
So you're telling me that it's more about age and verifying you than it is to play the lottery. That's crazy.
all right. So yeah, I mean that's kind of a good thing. Obviously, probably in Oklahoma, not a big deal.
Yeah.
But if that were to branch out in other states that have a lot more,
I think we should
left-
take a road trip and find out how this machine works.
Oklahoma's not that far.
Nope.
We gotta figure out what chain it's in.
yeah.
But yeah, continuing on in that news article, I kind of cut it out. But the COO guy that they were interviewing tried to do it and wouldn't recognize his driver's license, so he couldn't purchase anything.
That sucks.
That was kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, it's still flawed, but
Yeah.
kind of a cool concept. Again, I think that could cause a lot of drama in other states.
Oh,
if
yeah.
that were to go out, but of course those states probably aren't going to do that. So it's probably going to stay here in the Midwest.
Yeah,
for
probably.
sure. Missouri, Kansas,
Yep.
Oklahoma, probably Texas. Certain cities anyway.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So yeah, check it out. If you guys live in that area and have seen one of those, let us know how it is.
Yeah. That'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
I wonder if it gives you like a box of ammo or
It would have to.
that's what I was thinking.
And then like
You get to choose your brand of like American Eagle or
yeah,
Federal
is there
or-
a limit on how many you can purchase too?
yeah. That'd be
Does
interesting.
it just like pop out of the thing? And what happens if you buy like 1,000 rounds? Is it? Oh, that's why I don't know. A lot of
We
questions.
are out. We'll refund you your money. We are out.
It looked like a decent sized machine, but again, you can only fit. Ammo gets heavy,
Yeah, it
so
does.
it's not. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, it would be.
So that's kind of cool to see, though. Got another thing that popped up too. You know how obviously credit card companies were trying to track
Yep.
gun sales. Obviously, that's going.
Bye bye.
California is actually doing that. There's a law to where California is actually making that happen, but it's California, so you can't be too surprised there. But there was I think it was a TikTok or something of somebody who banks at this Idaho credit union, and they were actually reading the terms and conditions on their bank account that they had.
Yeah.
And this is what actually, that's not it. That's a screen share. This is actually what popped up in the terms and conditions. Unfortunately, it's a screenshot of the video. It's since been taken down from their website, which this kind of went viral. But it basically says in their terms and conditions prohibited uses, and it says you cannot use eBranch to request, send, receive money relating to any of the following specific purposes. And one of those lists firearms, ammunitions, or other weapons. And then, down there, materials that promote violence or hate. What would that consider?
I mean,
what would that be?
well, that and weapons. Like, is a knife considered a weapon? A kitchen knife?
Right.
Because you could use it. I mean,
Of course it
anything's
was.
anything's a weapon.
Exactly, a hammer.
Yeah.
Crowbar, like anything. Illegal drugs. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I get that. Controlled substances, drug, obviously pornography. But so you can't like use your credit card for Pornhub?
I'm pretty sure that's what you got to do to verify.
I
right?
know. So this got a lot of attention because you could basically use your debit or credit card for that stuff, and if you can't use it, technically, they have since taken down the terms and conditions on the website.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was Idaho. It was ICCI. Is it some Idaho credit union? So, which is funny. I wouldn't think Idaho would be anti,
Yeah.
but small credit union. You never know.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's the first time I've heard of a bank actually
Maybe we should
listing
start
that.
paying attention to our bank stuff.
I know.
Who knows what ours says?
Well, I haven't gotten anything like denied.
Yeah.
Well, and then if you go to like Academy and buy something, obviously you could be buying a Nike T-shirt or something. How are they going to know?
What it was.
What it
Besides
was.
the price being $500-600.
Yeah.
I mean, bows. Some of these places, bows are more than guns.
Yeah. So like you go to Academy, spend $500. It's not going to send your bank or your credit card company a broken out receipt.
Yeah.
So how would they know? Other than if you go to like Say you spend it at Boomstick Tactical LLC.
Yeah.
Well, that might be,
Might be a little suspicious.
Yeah. But yeah, Academy or even like Bass
Bass
Pro,
Pro,
Cabela's.
Shields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can buy anything there.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
But yeah. So hopefully they're going to change that now that that went viral and
Yeah.
all that. So
That's crazy.
yeah, they're always trying to keep us from exercising our Second Amendment.
Yeah.
But
They love that.
hey, at least we got freedom seeds in grocery stores now
Yeah.
in Oklahoma anyway. So Chris,
Yeah. You're right.
I've been a little bit of hearing this thing pop up called 2025 Project.
Or Project 25.
Project 2025, whatever
Yep.
you want to call it. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah. I didn't have any idea what it was either until I started looking into it. The only reason it caught my interest is because I applied for a certain agency, got it selected, and it was on this Project 2025 list. And I was like, well, what in the hell is Project 2025? So I did watch like 4 or 5 videos. They were all over the place. So I kind of took a little bit of notes, but it's from the Heritage Foundation, and it's mostly trying to transform the government into more of a conservative direction. So they're trying to get away of the democratic stuff and try to give back to the people and like controlling agencies better and like funding of agencies like the FBI, EPA, OSHA, all that.
Defunding those.
Yeah, defunding them and then replacing people that are not like liberal viewed and then more conservative Republican viewed is how they would replace them, which I was like, I don't know how they'd do that. Like you don't put that on your resume like, hey, I'm a Republican, conservative right, So, yeah, so a lot of it, I thought, because I keep bringing up Donald Trump, saying, oh, Donald Trump's going to do this because it's a conservative thing, and it was from the foundation. And I did some research that the foundation is made up of a lot of Trump's old, like, cabinet members and things like that, and Republicans. So, but this doesn't mean it's going to go into effect. It has to still go through law, Congress, and everything. You just can't just, here it is, you're going to obey by this.
What is exactly the Heritage Foundation like?
It's
say
just
what it is.
It's just it's like a think tank, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of bigwigs thinking together on what they would do and make changes to.
So I Googled it, and I'm going to share a screen here if you're watching on YouTube. There's actually a website that they have, and they have it listed here. Project 2025 Presidential Transition Project. And of course, everybody's going to be like, oh, well, that's something Trump put together because, what happened after the last election. And I mean, there's some information on this website, but not a whole lot. But basically, there's 4 pillars that will collectively pave the way for an effective conservative America.
Yeah.
And then it's got these 4 pillars here.
Yep.
You want to read those?
So you got policy agenda, personal database, training, and a 180-day playbook.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's kind of weird because when they started talking about like the personal database, I was like, how are they going to do that? Are they going to make like a LinkedIn for right conservatives and Republicans and put those people in? Because it doesn't make it clear. But that's like every video I watch, like that's how they're going to do it.
Right.
But there's going to be like free training on how to do that. I think it's mostly to try to get away from the Democratic reviews and to educate people more. And like especially agencies, like we know the ATF needs a lot of training on their own stuff.
The ATF just needs to go away.
Yeah, that too. But like,
Or take the F out of the ATF.
yeah. So, but it's mostly like there's been a lot of critics, and I just find it weird that you're hearing about this after the debate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, it's there's a Paul Dans who's the director.
Yeah.
Through the Heritage Foundation. Then you have a Spencer Cheriton
or something.
And then a Troop Hemingway.
Yeah. Well, those are the part of the foundation, but there's also like, if you go and actually look at the document, they got like authors and publishers and stuff, and they got more people listed.
Gotcha.
At least that's what I saw when they were talking about this earlier. But yeah, it's mostly trying to give, and also it looks like it's trying to give more power back to the executive office.
Yeah. Yes. So basically, they put together a playbook of actions to be taken within the first 180 days of office.
Yeah.
And here's where it says it's led by 2 former Trump guys, and that's why they're like, this is what they're going to use to scare the left. Is like, oh look, if Trump gets in office, he's going to try and become a dictatorship basically, and change our government. And that's what I heard. I'm like, what? And that's why I'm like, what the hell? What is this?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, well, Trump really honestly has no affiliation with this, and this wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It's just
like,
I mean,
Trump says there's like some okay things in it, but like a lot of it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then, the left is now like, oh, Trump's all for it and everything because the media is doing that. And I just found it weird that right after the debate, Biden did so terrible. Now all of a sudden Project 2025 is a big thing. I was like, where did this come from? And I was like, oh, this is I almost wonder if they paid these people or if this is something old and just now coming out that they did, like a think tank.
I don't know. It just basically has stuff that it would do.
Yeah.
And
it talks a lot. Like when I was watching a lot of these videos, a lot of it was like restructuring of the agencies like FBI, taking people out that are left and then putting people that are more conservative and right wing.
yeah, but I
And
mean,
I was like, how are you going to do that?
all this would have to go through Congress.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Yeah. This is just a think tank, like a bunch of ideas that people think this is how they should run the government.
Yeah.
It's just people's opinion on how they would do it.
Yeah, so in a post that he made, Trump did anyway, he put, I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. I agree with some of the things that they're saying, and some of the things that they're saying are absolutely ridiculous. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them.
Yep.
So, yeah. So this is just, I mean, I get it. I mean, there's probably people that believe in this and would
Yeah.
want this government, but it's not something that you can just implement.
Yeah, I think a lot of us would like to see some things restructured in the government, like a lot of these agencies. Like I know the FBI, I would want to go through and be like, all right, we got to set boundaries here because what you guys are doing and meddling with elections and things like that, and
Yeah.
that needs to stop.
Yeah, and of course, the Biden-Harris campaign is continuously posting about this, trying to
Say Trump's up behind it and everything.
and like this is what would happen if Trump gets
Yeah.
office. It's like no, like yeah, he has executive orders that he can do, but none of this would be part of that. You can't just change the government through all those. Like
Yeah.
Congress has to vote on all this, and we know nothing gets done in Congress anyway. So, so yeah,
It's mostly to try to get away from a lot of the Democratic ideologies and what they believe in and get more towards conservative.
Yeah, like somebody that they asked and it was like, I don't want you or my granddaughter to live under that government.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Like,
No. I think we all want to see some changes in the government.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Right.
sure all of us.
right. But
But like EPA, we have it there for a reason. Like we can see, we see the effects of what other countries when they don't have EPA has on America. Like look at China, they have no EPA, and the reason the smog's so bad in California is because it's coming across the ocean. Because they'll just illegal dump. They don't have any things like that. They don't care about waterways. They're just, and that's why we have a lot of the smog issues in California. So like some of these are really good agencies, but some of them they need to be improved on and looked at and under a microscope.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's probably areas where they can,
Improve.
stop wasteful spending, things
Yeah.
like that. Trump's a businessman, so obviously a lot of people were concerned with what he did on removing some of the EPA stuff and allowing like certain types of drilling and stuff that, and of course Biden came in and put a stop to all that.
And it was going to be green, so that's, I don't know. I think also too, like there's so much divide between the two parties. Instead of, I think they get lost on like they're supposed to work together for the American people.
Yeah.
Instead of, oh, we're going to do this because this is good for us and this is good for us. Like, no, what's good for America?
Right.
Let's come together and agree on things. You don't work for each other. You work for us.
Not only is there such a big divide between the two sides, then you have such divide within those two sides.
It's crazy.
Right now. Like, I mean, with Trump, there's some of the right that like him, a lot that don't want him in there. Like, no. And then same thing on the left. I mean, you got the left that obviously doesn't want him there. But then there's the parts of them that want Biden to drop out.
Yeah.
And
a lot of them want him to drop out. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's kind of, I mean,
it's
you're
like,
July and you're almost November.
I know. And it's like, I kind of don't, because depending on who they bring in.
Well, it's going to be Camilla. We know that. That's who they want.
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
I don't think she'd win. But I think, and also there's been a lot of talk, and I could see this happening, is Governor Newsom from California.
Yeah.
Him getting in there real quick.
That'd be bad.
That would be could you imagine that? What he's done to that state?
Yeah.
There's a max exodus from that state for a reason other than just costs.
Yeah.
And crime has gone up like crazy out there. Like
crazy. Get rid of gun laws and restrictions on guns. And
oh yeah, and he would obviously go after every single
yeah.
freaking firearm and everything and make us like California, which he's made it. He's gotten to
uninhabitable almost.
Yeah, like he's showed interest in becoming president, but it's like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
No, you've ruined that state. Don't ruin our country anymore.
Yeah.
And the people that are in that state are now starting to move to other states and
Yeah.
ruin those states. But
unfortunately,
yeah, so it's
like you move to get away from it, stay away from it. You're moving to that state for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to change it to go back to what you ran away from. Like I just don't. That always drives me nuts. Like, well, I'm moving here because it's better, but we need all these policies like California. No, you're moving there because you wanted to get away from it.
I saw a thing online. I don't know if it was like an actual picture or something AI, but it was some city in California where they posted and said, keep crime under like $950 or something like that. Like it
So
said,
you don't get a felony.
yeah. Let me see if I can find that. It was,
I don't know. California's bad.
oh yeah. I
Like
mean,
a lot of the YouTube people I watch, they keep talking about how bad LA is now.
oh yeah. So here it is. I don't know if this is like an actual sign, if it was, photoshopped in, but let me share my screen here. Here it is right here. Outside a Louis Vuitton store. Imagine that. This is probably somewhere in Hollywood. I don't know. But it says, notice, stolen goods must remain under $950.
Jesus. Have you seen the video of the guy? Like these kids were in there trying to rob the place. And he literally was like, dude, quit doing this crap. He put a stop to it. And then he told his other buddy, get out. And his buddy that he already kicked out came back, tried hitting him. He's like, oh, you're so scary. And like kicked him out and put a stop to it. I was like, why don't citizens? I was like, I know a lot of people are scared. There's that fear factor of what could happen. But
Yep.
it was just like, man, we almost need to start going back to like our olden traditions about sticking up for each other and being good neighbors.
Apparently that wasn't put up by the city.
Oh.
It was a real sign, but it had nothing to do with the city and the county of San Francisco.
I wonder if Louis Vuitton put it out there.
Right? I mean,
Like, they coulda.
honestly, there's nothing under $950 in that store.
Yeah, probably not. Well, maybe.
Have you ever been to a Louis Vuitton store? There is.
Yeah.
I walked in there. I'm like, I can't even afford a wallet.
It's crazy, like, because Dubai had a lot of high-end stores in their mall.
Yeah.
Like, I've, like, heard of Prada. Never seen a Prada store until I went there. And then, like, Louis Vuitton. I mean, but they also had a ski slope in the middle of their mall. It's just like, holy smokes.
Yeah. That's a whole different
Yeah.
city. And like that, you go there to show off your money.
Oh, yeah.
But they recently had a bunch of flooding this year. So,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, that would suck.
So on the rocks, it brings out more of the smokiness.
You think?
Yeah, a lot more. It takes away the pepper and gets you more smoke.
Think so, huh?
Yeah.
I just think it kind of dumbs everything down. And
It does, but I get more of that smoky flavor.
so which would you prefer it?
I don't know. They're both good both ways.
Right.
I mean, if you don't like peppery, put it on the rocks. But if you are used to the pepper and everything, I think it's fine, neat.
I think you, obviously, when you throw it on the rocks, the aromas go away.
Yeah.
When you keep it neat, especially one of these
Yeah.
glasses, as you drink it, you still get the
Yeah.
aromas. And I think that
Yeah.
accentuates
I think all it did on the rocks was bring out more of that smoky flavor. That was it.
Yeah. I honestly prefer it neat.
Yeah.
I mean, I was drinking it on the rocks, but it just took away. But again, it's with this,
It's so
drinking it neat,
smooth.
I get the aromas and it
Yeah.
just brings it back. And it's like, oh man, it's good. So yeah, this is one I'll just sip neat. Don't put it on the rocks and ruin it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a little bit about Project 2025 or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I think it's just
It's a
I mean,
scare.
it's obviously real, but I think it's
something-
scare.
Yeah. It's a scare to try to sway votes.
And how do we know that none of those people are being paid by, like you
Yeah.
said,
the Democratic Party, or
yeah,
because we know they'll do anything they can.
yeah. So we're gonna make this thing from those people may hate Trump now. A lot of people that worked for the Trump administration, unfortunately, got in a bunch of legal troubles.
Yeah.
Giuliani is now broke.
Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah, so he's got a lot of people that are probably mad at him. So maybe these guys are, and they're trying to make it look like they're not, and they're pro right wing, but maybe this is just a ploy to.
Because I just find it really interesting. Like, not even a week after the debate, it blew up. I was like, "What is?"
And of course, the administration, Biden's gonna take and run with it.
Yep. He's got
but
to. He has
if you knew
else.
anything about how the actual government runs, everything's got to pass through Congress.
Yeah.
And good luck.
Yeah. I mean, all it was is a think tank. A lot of companies probably have them, and foundations have a big think tanks. And
yeah, I mean, there's always people. Oh well, if we just did this will fix the government kind of thing. And this one just so happens to be more conservative than some other stuff. And I mean, I don't see the need to defund the FBI or police departments, like you said, the EPA. But if there's areas that we could spend
improve
the money
on.
Correctly,
I think the ATF needs to be defunded, but that's just me.
Why there's kind of the whole thing with why there's so many fires out west now is because in the 1950s or 60s they outlawed controlled burning.
Yeah,
and now this is why there's so many fires now is because they aren't able to control burn a lot of that vegetation off.
Yeah, it's not like Midwest where you have those prairie grass that'll do that.
Yeah,
because that's part of its life cycle. It burns and then regrows.
Yeah, so my aunt lives in California. They obviously deal a lot with the fires, and she's like, "Yeah, they really screwed up when they outlawed controlled burns."
Yeah,
and I think it was the 50s or 60s. She said, and obviously with the drier weather they have now, that's just it's just cause for all this stuff, and this is why people can't afford insurance and all this
I was
stuff.
sitting there thinking too. Like they keep talking about global warming. Global warming went up 1 degree Celsius over like 4 or 5 years. I was like, whatever. That's not a crazy amount.
Yeah, I mean,
have you ever thought about how much we have grown as just as a world?
we are overpopulated for sure.
But not only that, they're tearing down a lot of these what used to be wooded areas to put in these housing developments.
Oh yeah.
What are they putting in its place for shade and shelter, things like that? They're not doing much. They're maybe planting little trees here and there throughout the neighborhood, but they're not making up that difference.
Right. Yeah.
That's how I look at it. I was like, man, I thought about this one day. I was driving to work and I was just just tearing down trees, lighting them on fire. I'm like, I wonder if they ever thought about how many trees you take down or destroy during a build. You have to replant 10 times, or
because that's taking all the.
Yeah, because that's taking away shade.
Not only that, but I mean they take out the CO2 in the air. And,
so it is a lot.
Yeah.
And I know other countries that they're starting to do it's crazy. The architect, they'll build buildings specifically to provide shade during certain times to keep it cooler. And they tested it in one city over in the Middle East, and that whole city was 10 degrees colder than a city outside of them. And I was like, wow, that is nuts just by how they were building it and architect. I was like, that is wild.
I know that thing nowadays is to have trees on top of buildings and stuff like that, green areas. Which I mean you're definitely in a heat island in a downtown area like that, so that would help. Actually get rid of some of that carbon monoxide that you're breathing in. But I don't know. It's been interesting because this year we obviously had the earliest Cat 5 hurricane on record.
Yeah,
and it's only getting worse. And for my job, obviously insurance,
it's been nice though having an actually kind of a little bit of rain in the summer. Last 5 years, I don't remember it raining this much.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of nice to have that rain.
But we've also had crazy heat. Not necessarily here yet. We're about to get some crazy heat, but obviously the two coasts are seeing heat that is not normal for those areas.
I always just think of man, they're tearing down all this stuff, all these woods.
Oh yeah.
And trees, and they're not replanting enough to make up for it.
Yep. Well, then that obviously screws up the animal food chain because people around here now are like, oh my god, I see a coyote and freak the hell out.
Yeah, well, he took its home.
Yeah, you took its home. What do you think it's gonna do? And then same thing with foxes and
I see a lot more foxes. I've never seen so many foxes.
Well, because coyotes hunted those, and then we had bobcats that would hunt the coyotes, and obviously those kind of animals hunt deer, but now that everybody's kind of trying to kill off the coyotes here because, oh my God, God forbid it eats a dog. Yeah.
Just doing its natural
we
instinct.
took over its habitat, so yeah, it has nowhere to go. Your dog is smaller; it's prey.
Yeah,
this is how things work. And then the deer population has grown like crazy out here, so you see deer everywhere. It's because we fucked up the food chain.
Yeah, I can't wait. I hope we start getting like urban hunting. Have you seen that? So like some places in like Georgia, it's real populated with deer in the urban areas. So now people are like renting out the backyards for people to hunt.
Yeah, nice.
I was like, man, that'd be awesome. It's only strictly bow hunting though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but I'm like, man, that'd be awesome. And like they're setting up between like houses and like wooded areas, like blinds and stuff.
Yeah.
Need to get to that.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of deer here, but again, we took away the predators that eat the deer.
And not a lot of people hunt much. And like a lot of places, you got to lease out that land, and it's expensive to lease or to rent.
I know a lot of people that hunt, but unfortunately, the deer, like between here and where you live, it used to be all farm, country. Now it's all subdivisions that they're building, so all the deer that were out there have to go somewhere, so they come into the cities, and that's when you start running into that problem.
And you can't really hunt them in the cities.
Right.
Unless we start allowing urban hunting.
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome. Sit there on top of your deck with your bow.
And then you got the Karen next door is going to freak out.
Oh, well.
Yeah. I don't know.
She's probably the one bitching about all the deer
Just
anyway.
dress it right there in your backyard.
Hang it up.
Yep.
Shh. Want some jerky?
There you go. Yeah, if you guys have anything to comment on anything that we talked about, like how cool it would be to have freedom seeds in your grocery store or Walgreens or whatever you have, to the Project 2025, let us know your thoughts on all that. And if you want to leave us a voice message for the podcast or whatever, go to boomstick-tactical.com. Click on that little voice message for the podcast. Leave us a comment or a question or whatever, and we'll hear it.
Yeah.
Or if you're watching on YouTube, comment below. Well, until next time, I'm going to keep drinking this.
Yeah.
Neat. And while I do that, what do you got to say, Chris?
Remember, this is a YouTube podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and tickle that bell. If you're listening on any of those other platforms, please hit that follow button. And with that, everybody, have a good one.